Everybody's journey with grief after the loss of someone to suicide is different. In my journey, after the loss of my 23-year-old son, the 6-week Facing the Future group was a helpful and important step. It was 2 or 3 years after my son's death that I joined the group, but in the group there were others more recently bereaved, and some bereaved for longer. Some in our group had, like me, lost a child, others a spouse, a partner, or a sibling. The diversity of experiences was actually helpful. Like many coping after suicide, I experienced a kind of isolation and stigma, maybe self-stigma. We find we can't speak freely about our experiences because they're just too difficult or shocking. The Facing the Future group was a haven where I and others could speak openly and know that we would be understood. Having facilitators made the process feel safe. In the group, we had, of course, very different experiences and came from different backgrounds, but these differences made the recognition of what we shared in common all the more powerful. I could see that I wasn't alone and that such tragedy can happen to anyone. In the safety of the group, I could risk honesty in describing thoughts and feelings, pain and guilt. In the group, we could share feelings like the dread around an anniversary or the avoidance of particular places, how we handle the belongings of our loved ones, what thoughts bring solace and what are more difficult. Our experiences are all different, and yet listening to others helped me make a little more sense of my own grief. It helped me with the confusion and the pain and the guilt, and helped me shape my own story of loss. And that enabled me to live with this burden a little easier. Through listening to others and feeling compassion for them and what had happened to them, I was able to see myself through the eyes of others and blame myself a little less. The Facing the Future group is small enough to get to know people, and the continuity over 6 weeks allows return to difficult issues, maybe peeling back some of the layers of feeling and the many questions that suicide leaves behind, and also the ways we can reclaim our lives after loss. And there's much sharing of practical advice on how to cope from one another. Lasting friendships can be formed, and I'm still in contact with some members of my Facing the Future group.